Now we visit the garden of a dear friend of mine in one of the lush valleys of Durban that borders onto a botanical garden where she and her late husband Chick have dedicated many years to their park-like garden.
We immigrated from Zimbabwe 46 years ago, and we've been here ever since. And the garden, well, there was no garden. There was grass as high as an elephant's eye. Wherever you're looking here, it was just grass. And my husband's had more imagination than I did. He could see the potential, because I was a bit dumbstruck when he said we're going to buy it. But we did, and we've loved it. So we've really been gardening for the last 30 years. And had a lot of help from Phil Page, the landscaper. He created the swimming pool area, and he's actually a genius and very encouraging. I think we just started in a skirt around the garden. I bought pentas, I think 5 different colour pentas, and just planted them. But you know, when we bought, we had no money. Plants were 60 cents a plant, so I bought 3 a month. And then I bought 2 camellias. They put them in pots by the front door. They're now in the garden. The pink one, you can just see the blooms up there. That's 46 years old. It's amazing, isn't it? And it just kind of happened with joy.
With 5 water features to transport you to a tranquil space and many secret spots, it's difficult for me to choose a favourite area. One thing is certain, this garden takes its visitors on a beautiful journey. So when dealing with a big garden, many people are so overwhelmed. I've heard so many stories of when the daughter happens to now have to take over the garden. Even worse, the daughter-in-law. Can you imagine the fear? And the biggest issue is, how do I deal with such a big space? And here Dana's got it down pat. And these are really important lessons to learn when looking at large spaces. It's all about texture and grouping the right plants. We've got large groups of feiches, large groups of agapanthus. And what I'm loving the most, because they're all a rage, and I've been collecting them forever and ever and ever, are bromeliads. By using plants that are not going to cost you an arm and a leg, that you can simply divide up. And all of these plants do the same, and that is by investing in perennials. Invest in them because they are the ones that have got the legs. They're the ones that as they grow, they make more. And by making more, your investment is just doubling and getting more and more. So much so that you can take control of large spaces. And by grouping them together, having something with large leaves and next to it something with thin strap-like leaves, or something low with something a bit tall in the background, that gives you the interest that we all look for in gardens, much like we dress ourselves or decorate our homes. Amazing how plants come and go in fashion. And let me tell you, when you hunt down these well-established gardens and you find them, you find gems. One such gem is this baby right here. This is called Ligularia, and let me tell you, why do people love it? They love it for the symmetry in the leaves, and also this little node that kind of just hops back here. Semi-shade, full sun, and it grows by means of division. It just makes more and more, and it really grows easily from seed. So, if you haven't had a look in your garden, if you have an established garden that you might have bought from somebody else, go hunting in the undergrowth, because you might just be housing one of these beautiful gems. The garden has lots of interesting foliage with bold pops of colour. Dana's garden is a complete mix of indigenous and exotic, and most importantly, all the plants she loves. Very importantly, the backdrop. Straight behind me, just off to my right, the plants that have been used to create the framework to hold it in place, so it doesn't just sit there. You know, ponds don't fall out the sky. They need to sit, they need a framework, they need something to hold them together. And here the plant material works beautifully. The big delicious monster to my left, Philodendron Saluum, is one of the oldest plants, probably have been available in South Africa for hundreds of years, and it works so well. Next to it, that Agave attenuata, big rosettes, nice and uniform, draws your eye into it. And then, in contrast, you've got that flat surface of the water. Flat, tall and delicious. That's how it works. Another thing which I particularly like with this pond is the gravel that's been used right on the edge. So it's a cement mixture and fine gravel has been taken and just compacted into it. So it almost blends in with the natural rocks that have been used around it. It works well, it looks good, and it's rather practical as well.